So we're given 2 points and they want us to get the slope. We know slope m is equal to the change in y over the change in x, right? So what change in y means, get the y, subtract them, change in x, get the x's, subtract them. So if we're given 2 points, let me call this point A and given this point B. Let me start from point B, subtract the y. So this is xy and this is xy. So if I'm starting from this point, the y is 4. So 4 minus 0 over, starting from this point, the x is negative 2. So negative 2 minus 10. So 4 minus 0 gives you 4. Negative 2 minus 10 gives you a negative 12. So we have to give the slope in its simplest form. By 4 ones, by 4, 3. So this slope is negative 1 over 3. So if it's a negative slope, that means it's a line going in the negative direction. So it's a line like this, right? Those are the lines with negative slope. So you just have an idea that that's how it's going to appear. Yeah. All right. So that is example 1. Let's look at example 2. We're still doing the same thing. We're finding the slope of a line given 2 points. And so let me call this point P and call this point Q. Let me start with P to Q. So slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. And starting from point P, y is 9. So 9 minus 9 over 5 minus 3. So we're having this slope as 0. 0 divided by anything is 0. So meaning m here is 0. Which lines have a slope of 0? Are they vertical? Are they horizontal? You're right. Okay, so meaning this is a horizontal line like this, meaning it's parallel to the x-axis. So if this is my grid and this is the x-axis, so this is a line like this. So it has a slope of 0. Okay, so moving on, we're given 2 points. Let me call this point S and this point Q, and we want to get the slope of this line. So, and let me start from S, right? So the y here is 13, and the y here is negative 2, so minus negative 2. Going back to start from S, the x here is negative 4 minus, the x here is 6. So this is a fraction, but question is it in its simplest form? Or does it have common factors? It does 5. So by 5, 3, by 5, 2. So we end up with a slope of negative 3 over 2. Still, this is a negative slope, so meaning it's a line like this, right? A line with a negative slope. All right, so let's look at what if they give us the slope and we're missing a coordinate, right? This is what I mean. So in these examples or in these problems, they're giving us like a slope, right? But we're missing a coordinate. Here we're missing a y coordinate, and here we're missing an x coordinate. So we need to work backward and get the missing coordinate. So let's start from what we know. What we know is to get the slope, which is m, we're going to get the change in y and divide it by the change in x. Now let's substitute. We know the slope. Here it's negative 9 over 2. And let's get the change in y. If I start from this point, it doesn't matter which point you want to start from. Let me start from A to B. The change in y will be negative 4 minus, here the y is y. That's what we're looking for. And then going back to A, the change in x, we're starting with negative 3 minus negative 5. Like I said, every time you have a minus negative, that turns into a positive. So if I rewrite this, negative 9 out of 2 being equal to negative 4 minus y over 2. So at this point, what will we do? If you remember from one of my first videos, I was teaching you how to cross multiply. So this is a classic example where we can cross multiply. So negative 9 will multiply with 2, getting a negative 18, being equal to 2 into brackets negative 4 minus y. So if we distribute, we'll get negative 18 being equal to negative 8 minus 2y, right? So the missing value of y that we're looking for is actually 5. So y is equal to 5 here. Please feel free to pause this video at any time to try out this problem. So if we look at our last example, we're looking for a missing value, which is x. But from first principles, we know the slope of a line is equal to change in y over the change in x. We know the slope. It's 3 over 2 being equal to the change in y. So let me start with b and let me call this a. So starting from b, we'll get a negative 7 minus negative 4 over x minus 0, which is the same as x. Like I said, every time you have a minus negative, turns into a positive. So this is negative 7 plus 4, which gives you a negative 3. So if we rewrite this, it will be 3 out of 2 is equal to negative 3 out of x. Let's cross multiply. Dividing both sides by 3 will give me x. So x is equal to -2. All right, so what we're missing, this value here of x is -2. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.